Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Clearwater County Strategic Planning Council Committee for the Whole for Monday, February 23rd, 2026. All public meetings are live streamed and recorded. Any written or verbal information provided may be included in public documents as per the Access to Information Act, Sections 4, and Protection of Privacy Act, Sections 2, 4, and 5. I'll be looking for a motion to adopt the agenda as presented if there's no additions or deletions. Councillor Humphrey, you make the motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Is there, seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And I'd also just like to, we do have Councillor Powell joining us this morning online. So I did see a thumbs up there from Councillor Powell. Moving on to our previous minutes from the meeting minutes from January 26th. Did anybody note any errors or omissions? And if not, be looking for a motion to adopt those minutes.
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay, Councillor Cermak makes a motion to adopt the minutes from January 26th. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Powell. Moving into 3.1, Strategic Planning Council, review of dust suppression options and policy. It's on page 6 of today's agenda, and I'll invite administration to present the background information on this item.
Good morning, Reeve Northcott and Council. Welcome to the Strategic Planning Committee of the Whole meeting today. Today, administration would like to take the opportunity to specifically review the current dust suppression policy and some related options, and to have a further in-depth discussion on some of the challenges, potential solutions, and budget implications regarding dust suppression moving forward. Today, I would call upon Sean Howe, project technologist with Clearwater County, to give an overview and presentation of the dust suppression as we currently sit. And we also have Surface Roads Foreman Kerry Lipka in attendance as well if there's any operational questions that council may have. So moving forward, we'll let Sean move forward with the presentation.
Good morning, Strategic Planning Committee members. So to start with, as per the current dust suppression policy, residents have the following options for dust suppression. First is like public works use our own stuff to apply non-oil-based products, such as calcium chloride. County subsidize 50% of the cost for the first 150 meters. Second is residents may hire county-approved third-party contractors for the application of dust suppression using either oil-based or non-oil-based products. Costs will be entirely borne by the residents. For today's discussion, administration has conducted an in-depth review of the dust suppression program. So first, for the history. Administration provided a number of applications for two types of dust suppression throughout the years. SB 90 was oil-based dust suppression the county had been using in the past. It is an asphalt oil supplied by the Sands Maintainable Asphalt Solutions. In the past, the county offered a 3-year warranty for SB 90 applications. During that period, any minor maintenance right up to a full warranty relay of the dust suppression product was covered. Since 2022 was the last year to apply oil product, no SB 90 treated road sections are currently under warranty. And the next goes to the cost breakdown. First is the product unit price. We have included a graph that tracks the price per liter of the oil-based SB 90 and the water-based calcium product going back to 2017. As you can see, over the years, SB 90 has increased from about 57 cents per liter to $1.22 per liter, which is almost doubled, while calcium's price remains quite constant. For the current price, SB 90 oil is nearly 5.5 times the price of calcium. And for new application, when we look at the actual cost of applying dust suppressants, it's important to remember it is not just the price per liter that matters. The final cost is also influenced by the type of equipment required, the number of operators, and several other operational factors. Using 2025 pricing, if we take a 150-meter road as an example, and include materials, equipment, and labor, the numbers look quite different between the two products. A SB90 application comes in at $13,484, while a calcium application costs $972. In other words, a SB90 application is almost 14 times the price of a calcium application. And we have outlined the typical resources needed for each product, so you can see in the agenda item report. Next, we will move on to the relay and deletion cost. Beyond new applications, there are also significant costs tied to warranty relays and product removals, and those expenses were and are fully covered by the county. SB90 came with a 3-year warranty, while calcium is covered from the time it's applied to September 30th of the same year. If conditions on that road warranted, a relay during the warranty period may be approved. One point I want to clarify is the difference between the cost of a single relay and what we call the statistical cost for relay in the agenda item report. These two figures are not the same. In simple terms, the statistical cost for relay is calculated by taking the cost of one relay and multiplying it by the probability that the relay will be needed during the warranty period. Since not every dust control would go through a relay during its lifetime, it's more accurate to use a statistical relay cost for the calculation. Historic data suggests 27.7% of the SB93 road sections require a warranty relay each year. The probability for a calcium relay during its warranty period is 53%. So the new relay and deletion costs have been summarized at the end of section 2.3. As you can see, for the new application, SB90 is about 14 times higher. For the product relay and deletions, which is totally absorbed by the county, SB90 is $9,790 for relay and $4,644 for deletion. And that's a total of approximately $14,000. For calcium, the relay cost is $375 with no cost on deletion. So current policy allows residents to hire third-party contractors to apply SB90 or other dust control products on Clearwater County's gravel roads. Residents are responsible covering all associated costs. The county also requires a 3-year warranty for the oil-based products from the contractor to ensure the quality and longevity of the work. However, one of the challenges we have for this is residents hiring third-party contractors. Contractors often will not come to fix the road multiple times for a fixed price, so it's likely that county may absorb all the maintenance and the deletion costs in the end for this. And the next, for community's awareness, administration reviews the dust suppression policy of our neighboring municipalities. As shown in the attachment, all of them used calcium chloride or similar water-based products in 2025. None of them use oil-based products. And now we will move on to subdivisions. For road sections treated with SB90, winter maintenance stays the same. A grader would still go out to provide regular snow plowing, just it would do on any other gravel roads. In the summer, routine grading is not needed on these road sections. That being said, other types of maintenance, such as fixing potholes or relaying the surface, may still be required from time to time. The costs for relays and deletions were outlined in the previous sections. For Nordic, administration has received a request for oil-based dust control on Shanda Creek Road. The Strategic Planning Committee also passed the following motion on September 15, 2025. Motion by Councilor Neil Ratcliffe that the committee recommend to Council that administration be directed to prepare 2 cost ranges on a per lot annual basis. One range for continuously maintained SB90 and the other range for the cost of asphalt. And this information be presented to North Subdivision to lot owners for the next steps. To compare the cost, the payment would be approximately $15.57 million. There are currently 240 residents on the tax roll in the Northern North subdivision. This leads to $64,875 per lot. For SB 90, the total of new installation, warranty, relay, and deletion leads to a total of $2,536,802, which amounts to approximately $10,000 per residence. So it's important to point out that the county only offered a 3-year warranty for SB 90. Based on our historic data, any SB 90 treated road segment has about 27.7% chance of meeting a relay in any given year. While some segments do last longer beyond the 3-year mark, their lifespan really depends on the soil and the traffic conditions. For comparison, a paved surface typically lasts much longer, usually between 15 to 20 years. And next goes to the Clearwater Estates. The road is about 3.22 kilometers, and the subdivision has 35 residences on the tax roll. Using the cost we have outlined earlier, applying SB 90 along the full 3.22 kilometers will require an initial installation cost of $289,453. On top of that, the warranty relay and end-of-life deletion costs add another $309,850. Altogether, that brings to approximately $17,122 per residence. Again, SB 90 only came with a 3-year warranty. Once that warranty period ends, if the dust suppression deteriorates to the point where minor maintenance cannot keep the road safe, the county must return the road to its original gravel condition to maintain safe driving conditions. In addition to the previous 2 subdivisions we have discussed, we also need to consider the potential for other applications. If SB 90 was installed for the previous multi-lot subdivisions, it is reasonable to expect that similar requests from other areas would follow. Our GIS system shows the Clearwater County has roughly 106.4 kilometers of gravel roads within multi-lot subdivisions. While not every segment will necessarily pursue SB 90, it's still important, especially from a budgeting standpoint, to understand the full potential cost. If SB 90 were applied or reapplied across all subdivision roads, using 2025 pricing, the maximum initial cost would total $9,564,537, and warranty relays along with the road and end-of-life deletions would also add to that cost. Altogether, that brings the total potential cost to $19,803,054. And for the last section, we will look at the budget implications. The financial impact of SB 90 has been assessed based on 2 different scenarios. So for scenario A, keeping the policy as is, no budget adjustments are required. Under the current policy, residents may hire a third-party contractor subject to county's approval if they wish to apply SB 90 or other products, in which case they are responsible for the full cost. In scenario B, oil-based dust suppression will be brought back starting in 2026, with county staff completing the work and the county covering 50% of the new application and 100% of relay and deletion costs. Beyond the application costs we have discussed earlier, the option would also require purchasing of new equipment. The current zipper is from year 2008 and has reached the end of its service life. It's currently being repaired and maintained to prolong its operational lifespan for several more years, ensuring it remains functional during the phase-out of the existing SB 90 road segments. However, if oil-based dust suppression is restored, a new zipper would be required to accommodate the significantly increased workload. The cost is $500,000. The table in Section 5 outlines additional first-year costs based on 50% subsidy for 30 new applications, as well as SB 90 for Northern North and Clearwater Estates. In this scenario, considering the aforementioned factors, this program will require a budget adjustment and increase of $1,459,600 for budget year 2026, more or less. Extra warranty and deletion costs of these new applications, $2,054,429 would occur in later years, which were entirely borne by the county as per the previous policy. So in total, the budget implications from the first year of operations in 2026 will be $3,514,029 in the long term. In addition, this program's budget will also increase over the years due to the increasing oil price and equipment rates and additional new application and maintenance costs each year. So in summary, administration has completed a detailed review of the dust suppression program. Based on the direction that comes out of the Strategic Planning Committee of the whole today, administration will bring a revised policy back to council at the future regular council meeting. And we back to the staff's recommendation. So administration is asking for committee's direction on the dust suppression policy and decide whether first, restore oil-based dust suppressant as a county applied treatment option. Second, provide a subsidized rate of how much percentage on oil-based products dust suppressant new installation cost. Third, continue or discontinue the use of third-party contractors for dust suppression work. Fourth, provide an option for installation of oil-based products within an entire rural subdivision. Fifth, to provide contract holders with two options after oil-based dust suppressant warranty expires. Either relay installation or maintenance for additional fee or reclamation to original gravel road condition. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the information on this item. Looking for comments or questions, and I see Deputy Reeve McKay has a comment or question at this time.
Thank you, Reeve. Just with regards to products that other counties are using, like I know there's some resident complaints about calcium possibly damaging vehicles. Like, what are some other options, I guess?
Well, presently what we're offering is just the calcium right now. We have checked into other products, but they all contain calcium as well. So there's really no product that we've found yet that's comparable to calcium that doesn't eat vehicles, I guess you could say.
Right. It just, in the report here, it said there was other jurisdictions were using other products, but you said that they all contain calcium.
They all contain calcium.
No, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally find if you just wash your vehicle regularly, it's not a problem, but.
It's really, it's not as bad as the salt on the winter highways,
Right.
per se.
Councillor Humphrey, please.
Thank you for clarifying that. That was my next question, was to ask about the salt content versus calcium, how that affects vehicles. And yeah, makes it pretty straightforward for me. Calcium isn't as harmful as salt, and in this day and age, we can't reduce our salt on the roads anymore because perhaps people need to drive more to the road conditions. That's where I'm trying to go with that. I hope that was politically correct enough for everybody. But yeah, so that makes it pretty cut and dried in my opinion. Thank you.
Are there any other, well, I guess I'm not seeing any other comments, but I do know dust suppression has been an item that's been brought up many times by residents that I've spoken to. The calcium is okay, sort of on more of a main road for a quick fix. It sort of addresses the dust for the short term, but the problem sort of lies within the cul-de-sacs with the multi-lot subdivisions when it rains and then you have parents and kids outside playing or, going for a walk and it's muddy and you have the calcium inside the cul-de-sac and you've got either strollers or whatever it is, it makes quite a mess. So that's, I do know that the SB 90 would be a lot more of a, is Councillor Powell having, yeah, I see her, she does have her up. So the quality of life would be improved for many people in the cul-de-sacs, the multi-lot subdivisions. Ms. Powell, go ahead, please.
Good morning. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Initially, I had some residents approach me from one of the subdivisions. My thoughts on this is SB 90 would probably only be appropriate for existing subdivisions, not down your normal grid road. It wouldn't make sense to put SB 90 in front of somebody's home, but to go into an existing subdivision, keyword existing, I don't think any subdivisions that are being proposed or new should have SB 90. I think that should fall on the developer to put in appropriate roads. People are wanting better services that could be dealt with at the development stage. But for the existing subdivision, if that existing subdivision would like to pay 50% of it, and all those, say 40 individuals would like to come together and put their money together to be able to have the option of the county meeting them halfway is what residents are hoping for. I also think it should be subcontracted out, not a responsibility of the county to have that overhead. I'm just trying to see if there was any other notes I had written down here. That's kind of where I was sitting. This would only, my thoughts would be for in the subdivisions that are existing.
Thank you, Councillor Powell. Councillor Cermak, please.
Yeah, on this presentation, you said in that current policy allows residents to hire third-party contractors to apply SB 90 or other dust control products. Is there such a thing as a different dust control product other than SB 90 that's oil-based? I know we got calcium, but is there another oil-based product out there?
Previously, the SB 90 and the calcium are the only two that we have found that are really working properly. So basically, no. The SB 90 is definitely the best option that we've found.
So there is no other dust control oil-based product out there
No.
available at this time?
No, not oil-based.
Okay. And back to what Councillor Powell said, to the previous owned subdivisions that we should put SB 90 in it. Most of those subdivisions were bought on a gravel-based price. I think if you're going to be doing that, I think it's up to those people if they want to have SB 90 or paved, they pay the price, the whole price. I don't think it's up to the county. They bought it at a gravel-based price, so that's why they got their acreage or their lot at, let's say, $50,000 instead of $150,000 to cover that paving. So I don't think it's up to us to make that right now. But going forward, I would think any new subdivisions that are put in, I think we need to have it in our policy that it's pavement and that's it. Or if they want to do a gravel, then it's put on their title that it's gravel priced, not pavement. That's my little chirp for today. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Cermak. Councillor Humphrey, please.
I agree with you, Councillor Cermak. I'm listening to this, and if the county was paying 50% of the subdivision cost for SB 90 or pavement, that means the rest of the county is paying for that. Every other citizen throughout the county is paying for that subdivision half of their cost. And, you know, to say, yeah, we're only gonna do the subdivision, I don't think that's right at all. I totally don't agree with that. Many of your comments, Councillor Cermak, I agree with. I would think we wanna just stick with the policy we have. If people want a different product, an SB 90 oil-based product, it's available at their cost, and if we go forward with the existing one, if wherever you are, you can put the calcium on there, and it might be a little bad when it's first put on, but once it dries, I know there's roads with the calcium on it that I drive on, and once it's dried and set in there, then it rains, it doesn't get as muddy as the rest of the road. It's better, so I think walking around, same as washing your car, you might have to wash your boots off, but then that's kind of common what you do anyhow, whether it's mud or calcium, you wash it off your boots and your wheels. My thoughts.
Thank you for the comments. Councillor Humphrey, Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I'm curious about the longevity of an oil-based product in a subdivision compared to on a standard rural gravel road. Because of the reduced traffic volume and the reduced traffic weight, would we expect to see a longer product lifespan, or is it 3 years is all we're gonna get out of it?
For the most part, in the subdivisions, yes, it does last longer. We've been getting roughly around 10 years out of it. And then potholes start to develop. Whereas on a regular gravel road in the country, some of them do last 10 years as well. It all kind of depends on the subgrade underneath them as well.
Right.
If you have a good subgrade, yes, you can make a dust control last a long time in the country too. But there again, there's variables with big truck traffic and that sort of thing. In subdivisions, you don't see so much of that. You might see delivery trucks coming in there, that sort of thing, but there's no oil field activity and such. So yes, long story short, they do last longer in a subdivision.
Because just looking at the numbers here, that's the biggest concern. I think the upfront cost is a lot to bear, but it's the continuing cost of maintenance, just as with pavement, it's much, much more significant than what we think. Thanks.
Thank you for the comments. No, I had the exact same question, was on the grid roads for the tank trucks, industry traffic. That does definitely deteriorate the SB 90 a lot faster than it would in the, multi-lot subdivisions and the cul-de-sacs. But I think this is an effort, I know I heard it loud and clear from the residents that the dust, reduces the quality of life. These multi-lot subdivisions have been historically passed and approved. There's many things and many expenses that are now borne by the municipality moving forward, whether it's additional, there's so many services, whether it's enforcement, fire and emergency services, but this is an opportunity to bring this forward on behalf of the residents to offer, to possibly maybe amend this. I know that when it's 100% borne by the residents, it's almost at an unattainable price, so it just will never happen. So I think, if there was an opportunity for that 50% cost share, is in sort of option number 4, to provide an option for installation of oil-based dust suppressions with an entire rural subdivision end-to-end at a 50% cost share. Mr. Ammons, go ahead, please.
Reeve Northcott, may I trouble you for about a 10-minute break, please?
Yes, we'll take a recess for 10 minutes.
You're gonna get IT.
Okay.
Camera issues. So are we off?
My computer completely stopped, so I'm assuming you're offline.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, we may be still currently online, or we could be offline. We're uncertain at this point in time. Okay. Thank you.
You'll be able to tell us what would happen.
Okay.
Just sit here with that frozen expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody move. Great time to stretch your legs.
Yeah. Counselor Powell, can you still hear us online?
I can hear you guys.
I mean, you're still online.
No, she's on a different computer. She's on the other computer.
I've got a picture on here, I'm still looking. Yeah. Looks like we're still on there.
I think you're still on.
Okay. Well, we're on recess. I'm gonna go fill up my coffee cup and I'll be back. Welcome back from our short recess. Apologize for the short technical difficulty there, but we'll resume the meeting. And we'll be looking for discussion on the dust suppression policy. Councillor McCauley, go ahead, please.
Just curious where this works on people on industry roads, like for a policy. How would they be paying for that portion of industry roads that they want covered in front of their property?
If administration would like to provide information on that question, please.
Yes, as far as industry goes, the oil companies have been, they have been laying it down. They laid a couple of them down last year. And they paid the full cost of the dust control, and it's in their road agreement that they have to keep it maintained.
Okay. Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead, please.
So is that a large part of the community concerns, is dust created by industry, or are we talking about dust created by residents? It seems like there might be two different things going on here.
Mr. Emmons, please, go ahead.
Thank you. If I may, I would say both, but Public Works has different tools for the different uses. As Kerry talked about earlier, Public Works road use agreement truly holds industry accountable. When they have an intense haul in a designated haul route, industry does definitely look after the dust control, the blading. You know, my road, for example, with Paramount out doing a lot of activity in that area, they've calciumed that and they've kept up extremely well. No complaints whatsoever as from a road use perspective. I do believe that this dust control policy is in front of this committee because of the multi-lot subdivisions, and that's predominantly the issue here.
Okay, thanks for the clarification, because if this is an industry issue, then it's a policy enforcement issue. It's not a policy change issue, because industry should be doing their parts. Okay, thanks.
Councillor McCauley, please.
I'll be a bit more specific. Shunda Creek Road, just the industry on that. I had a conversation with the campground on there, and they said that when it's busy, they have layers of silts out there. Layers upon layers, so I don't know what the options are for them.
Mr. Emmons, please.
I'm not aware of a lot of industry use, but it is sporadic residential use. A lot of the homes out there are part-time, and when you see the increase, you know, Thursday, Friday before a weekend, absolutely, there is a high traffic count. Can't remember off the top, but I want to say around 450 vehicle movements per day in the summertime, as my memory goes. So it is definitely that, but I wouldn't tag it as an industry use. There are some individuals that operate contract businesses in the north side. They add some industry use, but even that, I would say, still pales compared to the residential use.
Thank you, Mr. Emmons. Mr. Ho, please.
Thank you. I just want to clarify one question I asked earlier. So SB9 and Kelson are the only two products the county have extensive past experience with. So there may be other products on the market. However, we cannot verify their performance because we don't have any past experience with. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Powell, I see your hand is up online there. Do you have any comments at this time?
Yes, I do. When I was speaking to some of the residents, their thought pattern was that if they were to use their money to install SB90, then the county's grader would not need to be in there during the summer. So their hopes would be that the county would then be able to contribute some of the cost towards the SB90, seeing as how they would be saving, not needing to have a grader in there in the summer.
Okay. Thank you for the comments, Councillor Powell. question for administration. We have 5 options here. We're sort of, and council could choose to amend or have additional motions possibly made at this time. But those are the 5 staff options that have been brought forward for the committee at this time. Councillor Humphrey, please go ahead.
I'd like a clarification from administration on if the SB 90 was put down in the subdivisions, the comment that then there wouldn't be any graders all summer, is that?
Yeah, that's correct. The graders don't have to go in there to work it at all. It's gravel, but it is dust control. So yeah, there's no reason for the graders to go in there. They do go in and plow the roads in the winter time in the subdivisions. That's not up to the sand or the plow trucks to do. The graders go in there and clear the snow off, just for the reason the SB 90 is not very susceptible to salt. So we do not go in there with the plow trucks in the winter time. But in the summer, yes, the graders, there's no maintenance really to them in the summertime.
So then, what kind of a cost savings are we looking at for no graders or maintenance in there through the summer? What kind of a cost savings is that compared? So we have a breakdown of what that actually saves us. Does it save us 25%, 10%, 50%? What? That would be helpful to make this be able to make a decision.
So grader's price is $232 per hour. If we do a quick calculation to grade that road, it may be like 2 hours to grade that road or more. That's 3 kilometers. So that would be like $500.
And how often would a grader go through their average in the summer? Once a week, once every 2 weeks?
The graders, their rotation for their beats is 14 days. So they'd be in there at least once every 2 weeks.
So it'd be about $1,000 a month savings.
Roughly. They don't necessarily go in there to grade them either unless they need to. So sometimes they could be skipped over for one rotation as well.
So it's not a huge savings if you look at $1,000 as opposed to the, I'd have to go back and check how many million it said this was gonna cost over 3 years. 3.5, and we'd be saving, even if it was 4 months, it'd be $4,000, or 6 months, it would be $6,000. Doesn't seem to make much of a cut into 3.5 million.
Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead, please.
I don't think we should be talking these numbers without more clarity on them. Because he used 3.5 kilometers, but I don't know what subdivision that applies to. Like if we look at Shunda, it was 13.5 kilometers. So I mean, they're gonna be in there for several hours at a time. And that Shunda Creek Road going in there, it's gonna get graded more than once every 2 weeks, especially when it's busy in the summer. So I don't know how we could really quantify the grader costs, but yeah, it would have been nice to have something with this to give us a better idea, but.
At this time, we could always request that administration could present additional information and we can bring this back at another meeting in the future.
Yeah.
So, Councillor Humphrey, do you have any further comments at this time? No? Mr. Ho, please go ahead.
Yes. So for grading subdivisions, if the SB9 is treated for those roads, there may not be graders needed for summer maintenance. However, if a road section needs relays or deletions, then grader is needed for those maintenance activities. And the relay costs have been outlined. Thank you.
Okay. So if, Councillor Powell, go ahead, please.
Sorry, just to comment on to what Councillor Humphrey was saying. Sorry, I was speaking in regards to Clearwater Estates, and the new installation cost there is $289,453. Their hopes, I'm just speaking for them, their hopes are that, you know, with a good installation by a subcontractor, there could be, you know, an 8-year an application done that could last up to 8 years. And with that being said, they were thinking of the grading costs over that length of time. I was really speaking more towards the 289,000 for Clearwater Estates. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Powell. So further discussion or a motion? Councillor Humphrey.
I would be prepared to make a motion on this that that we have reviewed the current dust suppression policy and that we go forward with it as is.
Okay, so you're, I guess what I heard out of that was you'd like to leave the dust suppression policy as is with no amendments or changes.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay. Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead, please.
I have to say, I don't fully understand the existing entire dust suppression policy. Just to be clear, I would like to continue a little more discussion, because we haven't really gotten into the existing policy. We're only looking at just this small presentation, right? Yeah, I'm not there yet, but that's just me.
In short, right now, calcium is offered to the residents at 50-50 cost share, and the SB 90 is no longer available for community residents. Councillor Humphrey, sorry, my apologies, Councillor Sarmack, you're right. It's available, but it's borne at 100% at their cost. There's no subsidy rate, right? So, but I would say at 100% cost, it would be, I think it's unattainable, so, for many people. Councillor Humphrey, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that the existing cost-effective dust suppression policy is available to residents at a 50%, but it is, as we've seen all the numbers, it is quite a bit more cost-effective. 14% or 14 times higher for SB 90 than calcium just for the applying rate, and then it goes up more as it goes forward. So I think we have a dust suppression policy that works and is cost effective and is cost effective for all residents of the county.
Okay, thank you for the comments. So right now we have a motion on the floor from Councillor Humphrey to maintain status quo with the current dust suppression policy. If I get that correct, Councillor Humphrey. I do think that there are flaws in the current policy, and I think that there could be amendments made to it to really address some of the quality of life issues for residents that do fall in those multi-lot subdivisions. I do see that Councillor Powell has another comment at this time, so go ahead, please, Councillor Powell.
When we're comparing costs to things, we keep going back to this 13% that it's so much more expensive for SB 90. But calcium is put on for a fraction of the cost and is only for a season. SB 90 could be used for upwards of 8 years if applied correctly. So we're comparing something that can't even be compared. So you put it for $972, we get one season on calcium. But for, say, $13,000, we could get 8 years worth, less the grader fees. So they're not really comparable in my opinion. That's all.
Thank you, Councillor Powell. Yeah, I think this is an opportunity to, to try and make some amendments to this, to the dust suppression policy to address those issues and concerns that the residents have had. So I think being 100% borne by the community residents, it's really unattainable to be able to get SB 90. Councillor Cermak, go ahead, please.
Yes, if you take the cost of SB 90 to lay a 150-meter road, it's $13,484. That's to lay it, and it has 3-year warranty. If you take calcium chloride at $1,000 and you lay it for 3 years, that's $3,000 instead of $13,000 for SB 90. And after 3 years, there is no more warranty. If it's still in good shape, we leave it, or do we rip it up and put it back to gravel?
No, if it's in good shape, I try and make them last as long as possible. We do fill the potholes until it just doesn't get feasible anymore to fill the potholes. And then when it starts to look like a piece of Swiss cheese, that's when I decide to zip it up and delete it.
Okay, so at the best of your knowledge, SB 90 may last for up to 10 years in a subdivision.
It can, yeah.
If we use calcium chloride, lay it every year, that cost is only $9,000 for 10 years. Instead of $13,000 for 3 years, plus all of our expense of filling potholes every year. What's that cost to us? Because I have a piece of calcium in front of or SP 90 in front of my house. This is into the 4th year, I think. And I see out there laying it, and you're filling potholes, and it takes a crew just about a day to do my section because I'm in a subdivision, or my quarter has 6 subdivisions in it, so we have a longer stretch. And I see a crew there for a whole day doing potholes. That's going to have some kind of cost.
There are costs to that for sure. We had it figured out, like in a subdivision like yours, there's no travel time and whatever costs that are involved there. But we did have it figured out. It's cost roughly $50 a pothole if we're driving around to all different areas in the county. So there's factors in there that there's different variables. Like in a subdivision such as yours, yeah, that when they're there all day, then they're filling all sorts of potholes in there. Then there's no travel time or organization or anything involved there. So there are variables in there, but yes, you're right. There are maintenance costs for sure.
So with SP 90 in a 10-year, what would be the average? Do you have to relay it twice, 3 times in a 10-year period? If the potholes get too bad, you'd rip it up and then you'd have to redo it.
Yeah, like we could just tear it up and relay it, and that usually only solves the problem for a year. Sometimes if you're lucky, you can tear it up. This is without adding oil, mind you. It's no warranty, it's just tearing it up, and we relay it down. Sometimes they will last another 3 years, sometimes they'll only last the summer and then they're done again. It all depends on the soils and the oil content. There are variables.
And all of that expense is totally 100% on the county.
Yes.
So this 13,000 could skyrocket to double that.
It can get expensive, yes.
Okay, thank you. So I agree with Mr. Humphrey, or Councilor Humphrey. I think there's no policy that's great, but I think this one serves our county as a whole. Our whole county, and that's what we have to think about, is all of our taxpayers, and I think they should be all treated equal, or at least try to be, and that includes subdivisions. And I think we try to do that. And I think Lauren hit it on the head that There's no policy that is perfect, but I think this one serves us good. Thank you.
Councillor Letwin, go ahead, please.
Yes, what would the difference in cost be between SB 90 and asphalt for your 150-meter stretch?
Oh, that's in here, it's millions.
No, it is. That's bad.
Well, it's not millions.
It's substantially more to go to an asphalt surface over the SB 90.
Pardon me?
It's substantially more to go to like a paved surface.
But what would the life expectancy be of it?
Similar.
Somewhat, 10 years, that's it?
10 to 15 years for asphalt.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Councillor Humphrey, do you have further comments or questions?
Yes, just on that cost, I'm looking at the summary page, and it shows the application cost being $13,484. That statistical cost for relay with respective warranty period entirely borne by the county. That's a statistical cost of another $9,790. And then when it is done, there's a deletion cost entirely borne by the county of another $4,644, as opposed to the total application cost on a per year basis being $972 plus $375 for a relay if it needed. But you're saying that $972, you could just do it every year for that price.
Yeah.
That gets into well over 25,000 cost for the SB 90, as opposed to even, and I know that's not the correct number, it's more, but just a quick calculation. Over $25,000 for even if it did last 10 years. And that's without the pothole filling and other stuff thrown in there. Whereas you could do calcium per year, do it every year for $10,000 or less. Yeah. The numbers don't make it clear to me, but doesn't make sense to go the other way and throw that extra cost onto our taxpayers. I would like to try and keep our tax dollars down.
CAO Emmons, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Reeve Northcott. And to be fair to the committee, the timing of bringing this dust control policy is not coincidental as well. I do think it's important to give a little bit of history. So last year, the SB 90 on Shunda Creek Drive going into the North Subdivision one section was torn up and put back to gravel. It was full of potholes beyond our hand patching crews capabilities any longer, so one section was tore up. The community was not pleased about that, and they were told that this policy would be reviewed, and administration out of policy would then have direction on how to deal with that section in the summer of 2026. So I just want to provide that as some background as well. Out of this policy, of course, administration will have direction on how to deal with that section of gravel. And that's pretty close to the bridge. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There was a piece right by the bridge.
Yeah, yeah, so.
Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead.
Thank you, Reeve. We're getting caught up on numbers that are typical for dust suppression on gravel roads that are used by agriculture, industry, heavy vehicle traffic. We're not really comparing apples to apples, and that's why I'd really like to see this go back to get specific costs for subdivisions with the cost savings of graders and everything that should be part of this to make an educated decision. And I also think that with regards to what Councillor Cermak was saying, like you had the opportunity to have that treatment in front of your property and then to deny people the option to have that. That doesn't seem right, Like, everybody's had the option to take advantage of the subsidy. I don't know at what point it got taken away, last year or the year before, but it seems like there's a middle ground here. And I don't think keeping this policy the way it is the right way to go.
Thank you for the comments, Deputy Reeve McKay. In where there's a will, there's a way. I do think that there could be some amendments or some middle ground or some additional information brought forward at another meeting. Councillor Humphrey.
Well, more information is always good, so I'm open to more information if me rescinding my motion to make a decision on this today would help the rest of council better understand it, I would be willing to do that. I mean, having all the information, I feel like I have enough, but if the rest of council would like that, I will gladly pull it back and we can get a little more information. More information is always good.
Okay, Councillor Humphrey, you've withdrawn your motion then?
Certainly.
Okay. So Deputy Reeve McKay, you've indicated that you'd like to have additional information. I know I've indicated that myself as well. Are you willing to make a motion?
Certainly, Reeve. I guess I'll preface this motion with, I believe that this council is all on the same page that SB 90 has sort of proven to not be a good solution for actual gravel roads that have industry traffic, agricultural traffic, like our average range roads and township roads. Is that sort of the consensus? So with that said, I would like to motion to direct administration to bring this agenda item back with costs, that's the right way to word that, with the costs specifically related to SB 90 in subdivisions, along with an accurate representation of the savings for not having to grade those subdivision roads.
Okay.
Is there more to add to that?
No, I think I've captured that. So to direct administration to bring this agenda item back for further discussion and bring back, including costs specifically related to subdivisions and the cost savings for reduced grading time. Does that captures, okay, that captures the intent from Deputy Reeve McKay. Councillor Letwin, please.
And could we please get a list of all the subdivisions that need the SB 90 versus the calcium and the kilometers in each subdivision within the county, so we can have an accurate breakdown on per unit basis? Thank you.
Councillor Cermak.
Yes, I need just a little bit of clarification on it through my pea-sized brain. Councillor McKay, the way I hear you saying it, that you're okay that the rest of the county taxpayers pay to upgrade subdivisions in our county. Is that exactly what you're saying, or what are you saying?
Do you want to respond to that, Deputy Reeve McKay?
Sure. I guess all I'm saying, Councillor Cermak, is just that we have all the information before us before we make the decision to decide whether any part of the county is better suited for any type of dust suppression or not. It's not a matter of one resident getting something that another one doesn't. It's a matter of making sure that we fully understand the policy and the cost of it before we make any decisions.
But your policy is only about subdivisions. It's not about having SPC in front of my farmstead. And the cost of that. Because I have lots of residential traffic on my road too. And I'm okay if I have to lay it. If I want SP 90, I will pay the total cost of what it's gonna cost me to get it laid. I don't think it's up to the county to pay for that. I'm in full agreement with the motion that Councillor Warren Humphrey brought forward.
I think maybe it has been identified, and staff have identified it as well. On some of the grid roads, you do have that heavy tank truck traffic and industry traffic on the grid roads, so it deteriorates the SB 90 much quicker. Where in some of the multi-lot subdivisions, it's been identified that the life expectancy could be longer. And I think Deputy Reeve and myself would like to see that information brought back, and the savings, or what the savings would be with the reduced gravel maintenance and grading time. It would be for information, but seeing other.
I guess, we've sort of already proven that it's not affordable or sustainable to use this type of dust suppression on roads that have heavy traffic, right? So we've eliminated that idea that the county can subsidize that. It's not sustainable, it's not affordable. But based on the extended usage of the product in other areas, maybe it is cost effective, maybe it is sustainable. We don't know that. Maybe it is similar to the cost of calcium if it's used properly. I don't know. I can't speak to that. That's why I want the information brought back so that we can decide.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to bring back additional information. Councillor Cermak, go ahead, please.
Yes, SP 90 is put in front of my place. And there's a gravel pit that is just 6 miles from my place. And they use that road as a haul road. And I think my SP is in the 4th or 5th year now.
I believe yours was laid in 2019, I think is when yours.
Some of the very last years that it was available. And it still is in use. And our gravel trucks go over it quite regularly in the summertime. And it's standing up reasonably well. Like it's now 6 years old. And it's only had potholes, so SP 90 does stand up if the road base is good. I agree with you, I think we do need some more information, but I don't think it's up to the rest of the county council, or the rest of the council, the rest of the county taxpayers to pay for subdivision SP 90. I think if the subdivision want it, then they pay for it. Because they got it at a gravel rate, which was a reduced price for their piece of property that they bought. If you buy a piece of property now that is paved, it's about 4 times the cost of a gravel one per lot.
Deputy Reeve, Kay, do you have any further comments?
The same can be said about broadband too.
Yeah, so at this time, is Councillor Powell online? I think we're gonna call the question here to have a vote.
I'm here.
Do you have any other additional comments at this time? If not, I'm gonna call the question. Okay. Seeing none from Councillor Powell, so the motion is that administration will bring back additional information related to SB 90 and subdivisions and cost savings for reduced grading time. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is passed, and I see a thumbs up from Councillor Powell. Thank you. Moving on in our agenda to Office of the CAO 5.1 Bylaw Review for 11-20-22 Broadband Committee on page 60 of the agenda. And I would like to invite administration to present the background information on this item. Good morning, Ms. Haight.
Good morning. Reeve Northcott and Council. So today before you is the Broadband Committee bylaw, and it's up for review and for discussion on potential changes to the bylaw. I'll start with a bit of history. Previous councils, when the broadband project was first introduced, previous council decided to take the route of setting up a council committee. And then therefore a bylaw was established to outline the broadband committee's duties and responsibilities and their mandate and also their membership. And Council of the Day determined that membership was going to be based on certain criteria, and the criteria is outlined in that bylaw. And it would be in a section 5, and it outlined eligibility criteria. And the intent was to ensure transparency and to provide a means for eligible membership upon verification criteria for eligibility. And so now the question is, does council wish to make any changes to this bylaw? Another question for discussion is, does council wish to continue with the broadband committee? And if so, then do they wish to have any amendments to this bylaw?
Thank you, Ms. Haight. Deputy Reeve McKay has a comment. Please go ahead, Deputy Reeve.
Thank you. It would seem that at this time, the broadband committee really serves no purpose, as this council made its decision already on the future of broadband, so it's only an increased cost to taxpayers to continue with this additional committee.
Thank you for the comments. Other discussion? I think at the point in time, there was value in the broadband committee, but I think that time's passed, and I think updates or additional discussions can take place at future strategic planning meetings regarding broadband. That's my thoughts on it. Councillor Letwin, go ahead, please.
Okay, right now, we're at the beginning of broadband, or we've got our spine lines basically in. We haven't tied into any residents. There was some confusion last week between the residents of Withrow as the salesperson was going around trying to sell them broadband. And here, Withrow's not eligible for broadband. So without understanding these things for the constituencies, I guess we can approach administration for this, or I'm not sure how to handle it, but for our constituents, to keep them informed and give them alternatives to line broadband versus some tower or whatever the future is. There was quite a few different suggestions of how we might be able to connect up to 37% or 39% are not going to get connected with this program. And so for information purposes, so that we're informed with what's going on in the field, so we can communicate to their constituents, I'd like to see it remain for the time being. maybe not for the next 5 years or anything, but for the immediate interim, for communication purposes also.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Letwin. Ms. Sate, prior to the creation, the Broadband Committee was created in 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
And prior to the broadband, this bylaw being created, where did discussions related to broadband take place?
I do believe that the majority of discussions took place during council's regular meetings.
Okay, so we would be, if this bylaw and this committee was dissolved of, we would be going back to the historical practice of having discussions in, during regular council meetings or strategic planning?
Yes, those are two different forms. The Broadband Committee, because of the size of the project, because of the intricacies and everything that was involved, there is perhaps a certain amount of time that's required to for council to have these discussions. And I believe that was one of the other reasons for setting up a committee. Council's regular meetings are usually pretty full, and they usually take the full 8 hours, 9 till 4, sometimes 4:30, sometimes later. And meeting only twice a month requires quite a bit of time, a counselor's time. And this broadband committee was partially set up to just allow extra time to have, full discussions on the project as a separate forum.
Councillor Humphrey?
Thank you, Mrs. Hay. That's really good information to have. I wonder because of the information that we have and that we have gone forward with the broadband, but also as it's still fairly new, I expect there's going to be a lot of questions and comments coming forward to us. And as you mentioned, we are pretty busy in our regular council meetings already. I would think maybe we want to hang on to this one for a while, for the duration of the year, and see if it isn't taking up all our time. We're still fairly fresh into all this right now. And I would hate to see it dissolved and then find out, holy man, now we really wish we didn't do that 3 months from now, when maybe we wait for so I would agree with Councillor Letwin that perhaps we want to just hold off and continue as it is for now.
Thank you, Councillor Humphrey. Deputy Reeve McKay?
Thank you, Reeve. Was it also a big part of this committee's purpose was to avoid some conflicts of interest as well? And that conflict of interest is no longer a part of this council. So it just seems that we could maybe fit it in. And I mean, I guess to further the point of these two councillors is, as a council, we've already made our decision on this. We approved the broadband plan as it was presented. It's done. We have no more decisions to be made. And questions from residents should be going to Arcadis or AFL or administration. It's unfortunate, and I certainly don't approve of it. Everybody knows that. But we made our decision. I don't know why we would need to continue with this committee.
My question was, how many members in the previous term how many members sat on this broadband committee?
In the
Six.
previous term, it was 6 members.
Right.
And so just respond to some of the questions, yes, the committee was set up twofold. Definitely in part, it was to address certain risks, potential risks and potential liabilities regarding perceived conflict of interest. And the second fold was the committee was given additional authority, additional powers to make decisions, so that it sort of helped to eliminate the redundancy of having a committee make recommendations and then the same topic come back to a regular council meeting. So the committee was empowered to a certain extent. I will maybe ask Mr. Hagan if he has any comments regarding whether or not seeing that the Broadband Committee had made a decision on the 13th, I believe. Just the question, is it necessary to have this committee move forward rather than just have council make all of the decisions?
Mr. Hagan, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, committee members. As far as necessary, I think that's up to this committee and ultimately council's discretion. Decisions will need to be made going forward. Things will come up that will need to be brought to the attention of either the Broadband Committee or ultimately council. There may be budget adjustments and so forth, which still need to go to council. So I think from my perspective, the question of conflict of interest and so forth isn't as prevalent with this council, if it even exists with this council, as it did previously. So from that point of necessity, I don't see that necessity for the committee. I see potentially carrying on the committee to possibly provide time management strategy for council, as well as opportunity for communication and information sharing.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan, for the comments. And another avenue may be to leave this committee in place, and prior to the next organizational meeting in October, we could have another discussion at that point in time to see whether the committee could be dissolved of or remain in effect, leaving a little bit more time for council to get comfortable with the Broadband Committee and the project as a whole. Would that be another option, Ms. Haight, that we could have this discussion closer to the October organizational meeting?
Certainly.
Thank you. Councillor Letwin, please.
Yes, like Mr. Hagan mentioned there, my biggest concern, and I don't care which way it goes, is the communication and updates, progress updates, where we're at, financial updates, et cetera, throughout the process. So if it means keeping a board or committee together, then that's what we need. If we don't need to, and we can get these progress reports during regular council meetings, that works for me also. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Letwin. I do see Councillor Powell does have a comment or question at this time. Please go ahead, Ms. Powell.
I was just wondering what the pros or cons would be to having the Broadband Committee meeting joined with the strategic planning to eliminate having two meetings, just put them into one, into one.
So your question, Ms. Powell, would be if we do have more strategic planning meetings now that are being scheduled, and to put that broadband meeting included in our strategic planning meetings. That's your question, Councillor Powell. Ms. Haight, would you be able to provide comments on that?
That's definitely an option. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Councillor McCauley.
Just if we were to keep the Broadband Committee, what are the options to have less members if that's the issue, having all 6 of us or 7 of us there? What's the minimum amount we're allowed to have on a committee like that?
It is a council committee of the whole.
Okay.
So all councillors, as long as they meet the eligibility requirements, are on the committee. So provided that in this term, none of the councillors that are serving have or are operating internet service provider business, I would be assuming that all council would be eligible.
And just to finish on that, I see the importance of the meetings, but maybe not having another committee for it, because the committee in itself is full of what was intended for last council. And I do see maybe moving those to the strategic planning sessions that would work, because even one today, we have room after topics here, so.
Thank you for the comments, Councillor McCulley. Deputy Reeve McKay.
Yeah, thanks. I guess if we are going to continue with this committee, then I think it certainly should be a committee of the whole. Everyone should be involved because unfortunately there is going to be significant budget adjustments that we're going to have to decide on because there is going to be a significantly higher cost to this project than what's in front of us. So we definitely need to all be part of that.
Okay, so further discussion or motion on this agenda item? Councillor Humphrey.
I'll just make the motion that we retain the the broadband committee and look at it again on our October and just maintain it until then, and maybe we'll have a little better understanding of the time constraints that are hitting us by that time.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor from Councillor Humphrey to remain status quo with the broadband committee and reconsider at the 2026 organizational meeting or just prior to. Okay, Councillor Powell, I'm not seeing any indication of comments or wanting to speak on this item. I'll call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried.
And
Ms. Haight, go ahead, please.
thank you. And so now with that being decided, did the committee want to review this bylaw and perhaps make some amendments to the bylaw? So for example, in the membership section 5,
Deputy Reeve McKay, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair. Should we maybe adjust the quorum requirements? If this is going to be a council of the whole, the quorum is simply 4 rather than the possible requirements that are laid out here in this document?
Ms. Haight, go ahead, please.
Does that require a motion?
Definitely. Anything in this bylaw can be amended.
Does that require a motion or a recommendation?
No, today, if council just, or if the committee just wanted to provide or identify those sections and the wording that they wish to be changed, I will come back with a draft with those amendments for final approval. So no, a motion isn't required. Like as you bring things up, I can make notes and then present a draft at a future meeting.
And was there something else in that section that you were alluding to, Ms. Haight?
Well, in this membership section 5.4, it does talk about councillor eligibility. And it also talks about in 5.5, prohibition under section 5.4 also applies if the counselor or a member of the counselor's family is a shareholder, et cetera, and 5.5.2, distributing corporation, et cetera. So the question is, does the committee feel that these sections should be removed? Should they stay in? Should wording be changed?
Is there any reason, like, is there anybody on this council that falls into any of these categories? Like, this was,
That I don't know of.
Do you have any further comments, Deputy Reeve McKay?
no, it's not.
Okay, I see Councillor Cermak has indicating he's wanting to provide comments or questions. Go ahead, Councillor Cermak.
Thank you, Reeve. I think they should stay. They're not hurting anything to be in here. And so be it if one of us decide that we don't want to be on this council anymore. Maybe there could be an ISP member join this council. I think they're good in there. I think it protects our county for liability and transparency, so that you know exactly that if you are a part of an ISP, you can't be on this committee. It says it right there in plain English, and anybody can understand it. I shouldn't say that, because there is some people that can't understand that, so we won't go into that anymore. I would like to see it stay. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments.
Maybe I've already said too much.
Thank you, Councillor Cermak. Councillor Humphrey, please.
I agree totally. I mean, any one of us here could just decide tomorrow to buy into a company. This says we won't.
Yeah, that's right.
So I see no reason to change anything that's in there. We'll just, as far as I'm concerned, leave it as is and carry on.
Thank you for the comments, Councillor Humphrey. Mr. Hagan, go ahead, please.
Thank you. And I just wanted to add to that, Councillor Cermak, you're correct that one of the intents of this bylaw was to protect Clearwater County. But it was also an intent to protect any particular councillor or councillors who may have a conflict of interest or a pecuniary interest, so that they can continue with their fiduciary responsibilities to the county in all other aspects. It would just preclude them from any decisions related to broadband itself. So it was a two-way street, is to protect the councillors as well as the county itself.
And they could still vote on budget issues with it.
That would be up to them to determine if they were comfortable doing that or whether they thought they had a conflict of interest during such a vote. But you're right, all budget issues historically have gone back to council, and it's been up to the individual councillors to determine their eligibility there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I do have one question, Ms. Haight. It's on 9.2, Clearwater County Code of Conduct Bylaw. Do we still have a current, do we have a code of conduct, or was that repealed?
That need to be amended.
Okay, so that's, I think everything else is, like Councillor Cermak has indicated, is fairly status quo and could remain the same, but yeah, if there's no current code of conduct bylaw, maybe that item 9.2 could be removed or amended.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Are there any other amendments that could be noted by the committee? Seeing none, I do not see any indication from Councillor Powell at this time.
So if the section 5.4 and 5.5 are to remain in, I would recommend not changing section 5.2.1.1.
I would, I think it is reasonable the way it's indicated there right now with the numbers of members that would meet quorum. Okay. So I think we're coming out of this with just maybe one minor amendment to section 9.2. Is that correct, Ms. Haight?
Yes.
That you've noted so far? Okay. Okay, if there's no other amendments noted, Counselor Cermak, go ahead, please.
Will that take a motion to remove that, or can that just be, can you just take it out without bringing it back to council or anything?
Oh, no, I made it in my notes. I'll go back, do up a draft bylaw, present that to council, and then council will have to grant this a new bylaw, 3 readings. So it does have to come back to council, but I don't need a motion directing me on the amendments. When I bring the new bylaw to council, that will be the time for the motion to adopt the new bylaw.
That sure seems like a lot of red tape just to remove one item.
True, but it does need to be done. There is, like, the MGA does not allow for a code of conduct, so all references to code of conduct should be removed from any and all bylaws that references it. It still needs to be done.
Who else?
That's sure costly when we're trying to save money here, when it's just a stroke of a pen to take out 9.2 and there it's finished. I can see why government costs us so much money in our taxes.
Yeah.
Freaking ridiculous. Sorry.
And if, Ms. Haight, if there are other amendments that are noted as well, or deletions or additions that need to be made, they could be made during second and third reading of the
Exactly.
amended bylaw. Okay, so there may
Yeah.
be other amendments that come out of this as well, but at this
That's
point in
right.
time, we're only identifying the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's no further discussion on this matter, we do have a closed session item.
Okay.
So I'd be looking for a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Okay, Counselor Cermak makes a motion to go into closed session. I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that motion is carried. And Counselor Powell is also in favor. welcome back from our closed session in our Strategic Planning Council Committee meeting of the whole. There's no motions coming out of closed session, so our agenda is complete for the day, and we have one final motion, which would be adjournment. And Councillor Letwin, you're indicating you'd like to
A
make...
motion to adjourn.
Okay, Councillor Letwin makes motion for adjournment. Call the question. All those in favor? That motion is carried. Thank you, Councillor Powell.